G'day lovelies, today's Motivational Clean with me is part one of a two-part series where I talk about how I break out of a bout of anxiety and depression. Today I am cleaning my way out of anxiety and depression with the hopes that it will encourage, inspire and motivate you to get done whatever it is you need to get done today. So let's do this. This video is designed somewhat like a podcast with visuals, so if you don't like voiceovers but you still like the visuals, then feel free to just turn the volume down, pop on your favorite music list or playlist and get grooving while you clean alongside me. If you like the voiceovers, then you will enjoy this and you can just sit and relax while I get the cleaning done. I would also like to start this video with a little bit of a trigger warning. I will be discussing mental health, specifically anxiety and depression, and if you find discussing mental health triggers a negative response from you or puts you in a very uncomfortable space, then I encourage you to practice self-care and self-compassion and find alternative content that will support your well-being, and I wish you the very, very best. I would also like to mention that there is a link in my description box that is always there that shares some international mental health support agencies. So if you are wondering where to start and you feel like you might relate to some of what I discussed today, then please know that is there, and I hope that you find the help that you may need for either yourself or a loved one. If you're new here, my name is Mel. Welcome to For the Love of Sorted. On this channel, I share my efforts to get sorted in my home. I share content like cleaning and organizing, decluttering, as well as meal planning, groceries and budgeting. And I share my experience of life in the hopes that I will inspire and encourage and motivate others, because it's not Pinterest perfect here. I do my very, very best and I keep it super real. So if you would like to join our beautiful little community at the end of this video, then I encourage you to do so by hitting the subscribe button, but give us a shot. So as I mentioned in the beginning, today is the start of a new two-part series. Could go on to more about how I overcome a bout of anxiety and depression. It's something that I have lived with for a very long time, and I am going to talk about my personal experience in today's video while I get my kitchen clean. My purpose and goal in sharing my real and raw experience with anxiety and depression is that I truly hope I can bring hope and comfort to anyone else experiencing a similar struggle. At the very least, I hope that I can raise awareness and understanding of what it's like for some people living with anxiety and depression from my perspective. Obviously, I am not a medical professional, but I am just speaking about how it feels for me. If you are concerned about yourself or know of a loved one who appears to be struggling, please seek medical professional help. Depression in particular is caused by a chemical imbalance in the brain, and new causes and treatments are discovered all the time.
Hey darling, can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city, let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday, baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey, come on now and take my hand. Hey darling, love it when it's me and you on the road with a couple of tunes in a car. countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday, baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey, come on now and take my hand. Get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday, baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey, come on now and take my hand. Yeah, we only get one life. I wanna make it count, honey, come on now and take my hand.
I personally have lived with anxiety and depression on and off since I was diagnosed in my late teens, and I've also studied counselling and mental health at a tertiary level. But despite this, there is only one thing I know for certain about both illnesses, and that is that while there are similarities for many, it is a very, very personal experience, and no two people tend to truly experience it the same. Over the 20 plus years that I've lived with anxiety and depression, and the 14 plus years that I have been a parent, I have developed a number of coping strategies, and combined with professional medical support, I mostly do okay. So as far as how my kitchen currently looks in this particular image, it's not so bad. However, one of the key indicators for me when I'm heading into a depressive low or struggling with anxiety is my house gets messy and even the basics are not done. Now, because I have children, and although my husband works super hard, they will often pick up the shortfall for a time, but as the full-time homemaker, a lot is left undone. Over the years, it has gotten less chaotic and cluttered with my persistence at good times and their assistance at all times, and things don't descend as they used to. Having said that, I still maintain that a messy, cluttered house is a symptom or result of something else, not a reflection upon the people who live there. Sometimes it's simply too much stuff, a lack of systems and routines, a chaotic lifestyle, or a disconnection to the space. For me, it says that I've become distracted, succumbed to overwhelm, but sometimes means I am suffering a bout of anxiety and depression. So what I'm saying is, just because your house is messy doesn't necessarily mean that you have anxiety or depression. I'm just saying that sometimes that can be a symptom for me, but so can all of the other things in terms of having a really busy lifestyle and just lacking systems and routines. I actually have some friends and perhaps subscribers here who, when their anxiety is highest, their house is at its cleanest and they can't relax until it's immaculate. So it really just depends on how it manifests for you. Of course, I feel 100 times better when my house is tidy and in order, but depression can leave me feeling unmotivated, depleted, and with a sense of why bother. It's more than a I can't be bothered feeling, and more of a there's no point. It makes me feel like even simple self-care tasks like brushing my hair or showering requires me to cross a lake of quicksand or molasses. Within myself, I feel frustrated, angry, useless, and the cruel and hurtful things I say to myself further dig the depression hole. I lose interest in the things that I love. I feel disconnected from my family and friends. I go through the motions with appointments and getting the kids where they need to be, but on the inside, I feel like I'm surrounded by dark.
Wish that I could stay in this moment forever, so I can hold you in my the monsters under your bed. Deep and abiding, liking for you is all I need. Until my heart gives in, I will do everything I can for you. You will grow up in the blink of an eye and move out and be on your own. But no matter what comes your way, I will stay right here beside you to catch you if you fall. And deep and abiding, liking for you is all I need. Until my heart gives in, I will do everything I can for you. Deep and abiding, liking for you is all I need. Until my heart gives in, I will do everything I can for you.
One of the advantages of having lived with anxiety and depression for 20 plus years is that I can, for the most part, pick up my toolbox of coping and recovery and get back on track much sooner than I did in my late teens and early 20s. Knowing that mental health is something I always have to actively work towards means I have a greater understanding and self-awareness, and I can come good, for want of a better expression, so to speak, sooner than I used to. I work with my GP, and I also see a psychologist on a monthly basis during times I know I am most likely to hit a low. There were times I've needed medication to get me over the low, and I fully encourage anyone who is struggling to explore all the options out there. Occasionally, I lull myself into a false sense of security and stop doing what works for me. And then before I know it, I'm in a slump and have to work very hard to re-implement those strategies again, one by one. If you've been following a while, then you know I have long periods of times where I'm doing more than okay. But mental health is not something that I have ever truly recovered from. I've come to accept it as a part of my life now, and that it's something I will always have to manage. There are even times where I appreciate the experience. It has provided me with an insight, compassion, and understanding of others that I may well not have had I not experienced it myself. Of course, no one can truly know how another person feels, but having an idea does increase the compassion level.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down. so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know, if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down.
Another advantage, for want of a better word, of having it for so long is that I've actually begun to recognize a pattern in the calendar year, and I know I will need to work extra hard to live with depression in certain times of the year. Early in the year, I believe it to be triggered by a traumatic and grief-stricken time in my early 20s, and this is often managed quickly for me with an acknowledgement of the cause, and I use it as a time to rest, reflect and recover. It's a time to take stock, remind myself of all that has happened that is great since then. When this particular trigger happens, it's almost like my body remembers it more than my brain does, and sometimes when I'm feeling that low, I kind of analyze and look where I'm at, and that's when I realize that it's around that anniversary of that really tricky time in my early years. Another time that I've noticed, it tends to be around the cooler months. This is actually a fact for many, and it's called a seasonal affect disorder, and is thought to be due to the shorter days and less natural light. It's very common in many parts of the world closest to the North or South Poles, and there is lots of research and treatments for this. So again, if you find this to be true for you, please speak to your GP. For me, I'm kind of closer to the equator, so it's not an obvious cause, but it still seems to be true. There doesn't always have to be a trigger either. Some of it can be diet or lifestyle, and it can deplete the serotonin levels in your brain. There's lots of research around that. It could be genetic, or it could just be one of those things. Regardless, it's not really the cause that matters, but what you do in order to live with it and treat it that really makes a difference. Because I know that the season can affect me, I implemented loads of self-care and practiced lots of self-compassion and lots of self-kindness. So that really held off the depression this year until the change of season, late August, all of September. And in my reflection, I really think it's because I had lulled myself into that false sense of security. But if you feel like you have cyclical bouts of depression, I encourage you to explore patterns with your medical support team. There's great evidence of foods affecting mental health too, but that's a whole other can of worms for me that I'm not prepared to go into right now. But it's just definitely something to explore with your GP or your psychologist or your support. Of course, like I said, there doesn't always have to be a reason or a trigger. Just sometimes it is what it is, and if you spend lots of time trying to analyze it or predict it or whatever, then you are losing the time that you can achieve recovery or at least improvement in your day-to-day life.
You got me dancing in your storm, burning everything we know, dressing up as firefighters. You got me dancing in your storm, or I'm looking like a breeze, but really you're a forest fire. You got me feeling uncomplicated. Whatever happens is meant
fighters. You got me dancing in your storm, looking like a breeze, but really you're a forest fire. Looking like a breeze, but really you're a forest fire. Looking like a breeze, but really you're a forest fire. Looking like a breeze, but really you're a forest fire.
So that's really depression for me, but anxiety is a whole other thing, and it can be triggered by lots of different scenarios. Sometimes it's the wind or the weather. Other times it's social interactions or driving the car, conflict, stress. Other times it can feel like it's come out of nowhere for no reason at all. For me, depression means I have to slow down, rest and recover, and yet anxiety makes me feel restless and distracted and frustrated, and together it's a fun place to be. Anxiety can be an all-day fluttering feeling where I can't focus or sit still and still achieve nothing, or other times it can hit me with an attack where I struggle to breathe or move. It's really a debilitating thing to deal with, and sometimes it's not there at all. They used to be really, really bad when I was younger and way less aware. I can recall some very scary times, and once when I was pregnant with my third child, I honestly thought I was having a heart attack and was hospitalized. I didn't, and even to this day, sometimes doubt that it was a panic attack, but there was nothing physically wrong with my heart. It was just, that is how an anxiety attack affected me on that particular time. It made me more self-aware though, and I practice lots of different things to help me feel a little more in control when my body is in a panic state. Next week's video will further discuss the things I do beyond medical professional help in my home and surroundings to cope with the ever-present feeling of anxiety and the bouts of depression. I wanted to do this series as I do read that many of you feel a connection to me when I share these things, and I wanted to give you hope and reassurance. I wanted to remind you that you are more than your home, and that if you struggle with mental illness, it is something you can develop skills and strategies around to make life easier for yourself with the help of professional medical assistance. It's not an instantaneous thing, and sometimes what works with one bout of depression or attack of anxiety won't necessarily work with the next. But know this, you are not alone. Depression likes to tell us that we are, but I promise you, if you're in a dark tunnel, this is my hand reaching out to you. I know I will turn a bend shortly and find a torch and light the way for you. I also know that there's people in front of us or just outside the tunnel who are reaching out to us. We all just need to keep putting one foot in front of the other and treating ourselves and others with love and understanding. We truly have got this. I genuinely hope you got something from this video, and if you relate to anything I've shared or expressed, then please hit the like button, share on your social media and comment below. These 3 actions will help grow our community of like-minded souls on a journey of self-discovery and acceptance. I look forward to chatting with you in the comments down below, and I hope that you have a lovely day wherever you are. Take care of you because you matter, and thank you for watching. Cheers.